Thank you, everybody, for your attendance today. We're going to talk about our digital story, which has been complemented by Enscape. So, a little bit about us. My name is Brent Mowdy. I'm the Chief Technology Officer here at Turner Fleischer Architects. I'm an architect in two of our provinces here in Canada, in Ontario and Alberta. You can see the alphabet by my name there. I carry membership in several organizations, LEED Certified Professional, Canada BIM Council Certified Professional, as well as I sit on the board. And I teach at a couple of colleges here in Ontario. And I'm joined here with Christian.
Hi, everybody. I'm Christian Powell. I'm a CAN-BIM BP3 Revit certified professional. I'm a digital practice lead here at Turner Fleischer at the digital practice department.
Which we'll talk a lot more of in a moment. But let's get started. So, what's the statement here? Technology has advanced over the years profusely, exponentially, if you will, and it's been the catalyst here at Turner Fleischer Architect to press forward with our digital progression. For us to keep pace with industry, we've strived to digitize our practice, embrace new technologies, software, and workflows. Enscape has been a part of that journey for years, enhancing how we design, collaborate, and visualize. This presentation is going to focus on our continual evolution within the digital society within which we are all immersed. So who are we? Turner Fleischer right now is 205 professionals. We have grown profusely over the last several years, of which we've totaled about 46 years of existence. We're located in Toronto, and I love this animation here because we were one studio, and March 2020 prompted us to become 200 mini studios. We're now evolving in a hybrid mentality where we know that there's value of in-person collaboration and full technological capability and full practical capability to work from anywhere. And you can see the spread of our people within the Greater Toronto area. So we have amazing coverage, hybrid situation, and we're striving forward. We have several different types of projects that we focus on within Turner Fleischer. Residential, high-rise, and mixed use. So tall buildings, condominiums, rental towers, hospitality, hotels, retail, and commercial. We'll do grocery stores, warehousing, storage units, etc. Several institutional type establishments, industrial settings. We have an interior design practice that allows us to design the interiors of all the other projects we're on or exclusive interior projects on their own. We have a planning department that looks at the front end master planning. How do you take a site and turn it into something phenomenal? And we have a wayfinding group that basically looks at how do you get around the things that we create, whether it's any one of these. It could be transit stops, it could be anything. People have to move, and wayfinding is critical to achieving that function. And we've got culture. We've got some amazing people. Some of these examples here, we do a lot of stuff for charity, the Ride to Conquer Cancer, we do gift wrapping services. We have several large gatherings where we all get together as a studio and we just experience the moment together. Parties, always party. And we have an amazing lab internal to our studio where we have a learning environment set up, which we'll talk a little bit more about later on. So we have those capabilities, and that just allows us to thrive together as an organization. So why become a digital practice? Well, the world is changing. And I love this image here. There's a little typewriter sneaked in here at the same time as you have augmented and virtual reality type apparatuses and everything in the middle. So innovation is accelerating exponentially. Every month, every year, there's something new, there's something phenomenal, there's something disruptive. Disruption is inevitable. It's just what happens. That slide projector there in the bottom left, that was disruptive technology of its time. Now, I don't know if anybody can even find one. So digital transformation is unavoidable. how we work, why we work, who we're working for. It's all changing, and it will continue to change as we go forward. So a lot of my work has been how to bring together the human and the machine. There's, sci-fi can go on and on about the fears of the machine, but, the machine is there. The machine is becoming more intelligent. It can learn, and these artificial intelligence can start to help us do the things we have to do. Now, the trick, and I think the critical aspect, is to never lose sight of the human factor. The machine will grow, the machine will be there to work with us, to help us, and to automate things that we want to automate, but it will never replace our brains. So the human and the machine is coming together, and I will argue is already together. And part of what we're doing as an industry and a society is learning how to thrive with the machine. So this is a critical thing that's happening in our world, let alone our industry. Why digitize? Well, we understand that everything we do as architects, planners, interior designers is one piece of an overall digital puzzle. So while we bring these pieces together, we're assembling an overall picture. Turner Fleischer has an important puzzle piece. All of our consultants have their puzzle pieces. We assemble these pieces, and then what do? We connect these pieces to an information network. And these networks are growing over time. There's data flowing everywhere within the architecture, engineering, construction industry, and beyond within our lives. We have these phones. These phones are an access point to all that data. And when you think about the global disruptions that are occurring, they're all based on data. They're all based on that connectivity. We will have blockchain technology that uses data as an access point to acknowledge who's done something to some speck of data. We have 5G that allows for mass transmissions of data in seconds or minutes, depending on the size. And in our practice, in our industry, we use building information modeling. And what is BIM? Nothing but a collection of data. You can minimize it to that. And we take that data and we do phenomenal things with that data, part of which includes visualizing, creating our drawings, creating our outputs that are required for the delivery of our designs. So how do we leverage a digital practice department? So we've already declared we're digitizing the profession. We're digitizing our practice. So that leads to the need internally for a department focusing on the digitization. We all have IT. So we have this duality of DPD and IT, and they work together. Our digital practice department defines the needs. Our information technology department provides the infrastructure, and they work hand in hand. They're connected, they're symbiotic. You can't really have one without the other inside our industry. And if you're sitting there as an audience saying, hey, we don't have a digital practice department, I'll say you definitely have elements. Somebody's defining the needs, and then your IT is helping to build that infrastructure. We've just taken all those somebodies and brought them together into a group. So looking at this org chart, this is a very high level. We've got a bunch of departments that focus on design. Those are yellows. And then the green is our project managers that span across managing our projects. And then the red are our cross-departmental services, if you will. Digital practice spans all the departments. We use the BIM process. It doesn't matter what project you're doing, it's BIMmed. We have technology, we build models, we want to visualize. It's the same problem statement or opportunity, if you will, spanning across each and every one of our departments. So within digital practice, we have 9 studio members today. And when you see that number, oftentimes the takeaway is, well, how can you do that? How can you have 9 people that aren't project billable? That's what we have in a studio of 205, 9 people and growing, because they span everyone. They bring value. Their non-chargeable efforts bring direct value to the projects themselves. So we don't look at client ratios and chargeability. We look at, obviously, we want to win work, deliver work. We need to be high quality. We need to display design excellence, and we need to harness technology for the general betterment of everything that we do. So the vision of this department, we've got 4 pillars, if you will. So if you start concentrically out from the center, the most critical part of the digital practice is that we have the buy-in of our leadership and the management of our studio. So that when the staff are being engaged, they're being engaged with direct top-down buy-in. And if you're sitting there saying, well, hey, what's that Newton ring? Newton is our word for internal virtual office. It's our knowledge sharing system that allows us to collaborate, communicate, and share on information and knowledge. And then when you look at these 4 pillars, well, let's take the bottom one first. It's what we're doing here today. Outreach to the outside world. So we attend conferences, we tell our story, we engage in the community. Christian and I both said that we're part of the Canada BIM Council. I'm part of our local architectural community as well. I give back to academia. I'll guest lecture. I'm teaching 2 courses starting in a couple days. It's a passion of mine, which I love. We train, the yellow pillar. So very critical. We can't have technology if we don't show the staff how to use it. So what's one of those non-billable efforts that the digital practice department does? The training regime. Set it up. What do we want to train? How do we train? How do we go beyond just click a button and make it happen? Understand the possibilities and the reasoning. Go to the green pillar. We support the practice. So this is the practice of architecture, interior design, creation of overall building designs, feeding to our contractors, interpreting the needs of our clients and our owners, and harnessing our technologies to achieve that, using our data for analytics to understand what we're doing well, what we're not doing well, how to push forward. And then we have incubators. This is our R&D functions. So what technologies do we need? What should we get? What new hardware is there? How do we do a better laser scan? How do we redefine what we're doing? How do we automate and script, etc.? All of those are questions of exploration that we spearhead as a digital practice. And through those incubators, we grab staff members and we pull them all together. And we say, if you're interested in something, let's talk on it, let's explore it, and let's make it happen. And this is the team. These are our faces. There's a lot of us on here, and all of us fulfill one or more of these various functions. So everything from BIM specialists, and that's your BIM coordination, clash detections, BIM model coordination on your BIM 360s and stuff like that. We create content. We do laser scanning, 3D printing. We have a computational design specialist focusing just on computational design, spanning every project or as many projects as possible across the firm. Data integration specialists, really fun one there. Knowledge manager. So our knowledge manager basically looks at all of the tacit knowledge that were developed over time and looks at how do we capture it, deploy it, disseminate it to our studio and leverage it. So phenomenal team. And with that, let's talk a bit about our Enscape journey.
Awesome. So this is a timeline at Turner Fleischer of all the different technologies that we've implemented throughout the years here. And as you can see here, as you look over to the left from Turner Fleischer's founding, the technologies were few and far between, and the gaps between each development in technology was humongous. And as we're getting further down that timeline, you can see that not only are the developments of the new technologies increasing, but they're closer together and they're piling up on top of each other. And as we get into 2020 and beyond, now we have a myriad of tools that we can at our disposal that are able to be used, and more coming out every day. So it's important to know which one do you use? How do you use it? How do you get people to use this? How do you update your workflows with these? These are all big questions that you need to integrate into an ever-changing, ever-shifting world.
And it's unknown. And I want to really stress that the decade we're in now, AI, machine learning, Internet of Things, digital twinning, all of these items, those are concepts. Those aren't softwares. So we don't know what technology is going to be exposed in the next 9 years or beyond that. And when we look backwards, that time of 1979 where we were on AutoCAD to 2002, that's crazy. That's 20 plus years before we made a shift. Now I'm fearful and excited all at the same time with
Yes,
what we're going to be in 2 years, let alone 10 years.
absolutely.
So 2018 is our Enscape focus when we brought on
That's
Enscape.
kind of when it all began, exactly.
Yes.
So the implementation began a little bit before, even though 2018 is when it began. The original meeting with Enscape was between our associate Nick Bowker and Phil Reed from Enscape at Autodesk University, where they just bumped into each other. Nick, being interested in technology, it caught his eye as he was walking by, and they started talking, and this instigated a relationship, and we started talking together and really getting this software into the door at Turner Fleischer, and showing it around to leadership, showing it around to staff, and really starting that whole talking process. Then as we were using it for about 2016, 2017, we were actively peppering it into projects and starting to use it. In 2018, we had a wonderful opportunity to join Enscape at Autodesk University in Las Vegas, where we were able to showcase some of our projects and really show the power of Enscape and how we have utilized it at our office to make some beautiful live renderings that were having a wonderful impact on our projects and to our clients. So then once 2018 was finished, we decided to come back for a return year with them. Enscape and Turner Fleischer at this point were becoming much closer. We are exchanging information and data, feedback, becoming part of their customer advisory board, and really helping grow the product and really give the feedback that we were getting from our staff, from our leadership in its use at Turner Fleischer, giving that back to Enscape, helping grow the product and helping tailor it to the needs of a company like ours, and helping them understand what we would want to see in a tool like this. So it was a very powerful way for us to share that. And Enscape, it was very nice to have us at AU again for a second year in a row, which was, as always, a wonderful experience. We were able to be at the booth with them, showcase our projects, and really get face to face with the people who wanted to see how we were using the software. So as this came in, we implemented the software. It started to become popular. Turner Fleischer really started to pick up on it. We started to get a couple more licenses. Well, then now you have a bunch of people that are really engaged with the software. Number of people that want to learn about it more. They want to really implement it into their projects and see it flex. So that means that you have to start teaching people. You have to start expanding the knowledge base in the office and really help people understand how it works and tailor the experience. So we started by implementing an Enscape course, which we taught in our academy, which is our TF Academy. And that was a wonderful course. There was a number of us in the office who were teaching that, and we were able to cycle in a number of people through that course and really get them familiarized with not only the basics of Enscape, but being able to utilize it using different kinds of roles for different roles. So that was a very helpful experience to be able to get people into our lab space, into the kitchen, getting them onto a computer, getting the model up, opening Enscape up, manipulating it, changing the settings, working together as a group, just to see what Enscape can do and how can we make our projects look cool, look different as you're playing within the Enscape environment.
And just a little quick on our Turner Fleischer Academy. This is something that we've run now for 20 semesters. So basically we run it about 4 months at a time, where we'll hold maybe about 6 to 8 courses attended by up to 12 to 15 people. We hold a whole host of electives offered by, we'll find external guest speakers for a 1 hour session. And we have workshops, which are more focused. They're usually about 6 people, where it's a lot more hands-on. And we've been doing this now, as I said, for 24-month terms. And it's phenomenal. It allows us to achieve continuing education credits for our professional registrations. It brings our studio together, and it just fosters that learning environment, which is so ridiculously important when it
It's
comes to
critical.
technological implementation.
Absolutely. So then, as I mentioned before, we were training Enscape basics. We were really getting some good feedback, some good traction on that. Nebi, one of our Enscape experts, Marco, and myself, we were really trying to get as many people through the course as possible. And then as we started to expand from the basics, we started to tailor the Enscape usages to certain kinds of roles. So we developed an Enscape PM training sessions for our project managers to help with markups and being able to really convey design changes within the Enscape environment back to the team, and be able to get those markup feedbacks to really get those powerful wow factor Enscape EXEs created, and have that be a comfortable part of our workflow for all of our staff, including the PMs, for the technicians, managers, and all alike. And then last but not least, the Enscape course that we did in the lab, which is a big part of our TF Academy course now as well. It's a staple, really. We were lucky enough to be able to have the Enscape team join us digitally. So I don't know if you can see in the picture there in the bottom corner, you have Kai Borneval there, who's the Enscape support lead, joining us from Germany to be able to show us tips and tricks and new features and new, out of the box techniques of being able to do funky stuff within Enscape that you might typically not want to, or not be able to do, or not know how to do. So that was a very fortunate thing for us to be able to get, that extra leg, and just learn some of the cool things that you never would have thought that Enscape could do. And now we're able to implement them on a lot of our projects and make them look absolutely gorgeous. And then last but definitely not least is projects. I mean, these are, in the end, this is what it's all about, right? We're working on building buildings, and we are here to complete a task for a client. So once we had the handle on the software, once we were able to teach this to our staff, we were very eager to kind of get this moving in front of our clients. And for the client Nobu demo, this was a very interesting opportunity, where we had some design aspects of a building that were trying to be conveyed to the client, which we were having trouble having them visualize, but we were able to use Enscape to set the view times to nighttime and really enhance the lighting within the building and really show that facade layout, and the impact to the client was just absolutely phenomenal. This was kind of a shot in the dark. One of our principals just decided, you know what? There's this awesome, cool new program that we're playing around with that is really powerful. Maybe we can help, convey this idea to you through that. And when they popped it on, it was just like a voila aha moment, and everybody was very impressed with how this all works. So this shows the power of it, and it shows that the ease of use really helps the clients and the designers connect, and really get those visions and that discussion and those talking points connected to each other. And that in and of itself is just so powerful.
And I just want to expand there on the ease of use, because what made this piece so feasible was that the partner could say, hey, let's give it a try. And the cost of let's give it a try, well, we had the software, and I hate saying it's a push button, but it is a button that sits inside Revit, and that's a huge thing, because you could just hit the button and you already start to engage the experience. So that ease helps to weave it into the workflow very easily, seamlessly. We already had the model, we already had the button. Obviously, you want to manipulate it and make it work as best you can, but there wasn't a burden. There was no static snapshot transmission to a specialist, analyzing, review, like all of that. It was just seamlessly integrated into the workflow of the design, and not an offshoot. So that's a big impress of Enscape.
Absolutely. And that wow factor that you get from it is a huge, huge plus. So then as we started working more on Enscape, we were able to get our project teams into VR to analyze their projects and their team's work in Enscape. So that was a very interesting kind of transition for us, where in this case, we didn't have the lab yet at this time, but we were able to get our teams into the kitchen, put a VR headset on them, and get them to go onto the balconies and check out different parts of the building to do their own markups, just to make sure that the visual experience was going to match what they wanted to convey to the client. And this one in particular, I remember that there was a particular planter that was a little bit too high on the balcony, and it just was so apparent once they got out onto the balcony, walking at human height, to be able to see that, okay, this planter was just a little bit too tall. It was blocking the view at the railing. Just a really powerful way to get that, that real life feel of what it might feel like to walk through the building, and make sure that you get that powerful vision conveyed to the client. So that was our first time ever really doing that with a project team. But since 2018, we have now practiced that quite a bit more, and our teams do this quite a bit more often. And that has since turned into what was one of my favorite project meetings with a client, which was the Sunnybrook VR client meeting, which was in the lab with the client, where they were able to sit into a chair in our virtual reality space, and they were able to be navigated or navigate themselves, depending on how confident they were, through the space, and be able to really visualize the wonders of what was created for them, and the vision of what we were trying to design for them. This was by far the most impactful meeting that I think I've been a part of. Everybody was oohing and eyeing the whole time, and just mind blown, which is amazing, because you really get this good feedback. And once you really integrate it into the environment, once they are comfortable at what the clients are seeing, the feedback you get on what they like and what they would like to see differently is just humongous. And it's amazing to be able to see how that information exchange just becomes so natural, and everybody just becomes so integrated and invested in that moment. It's a very powerful tool for us to all work together in this.
And I do want to stress what that point Christian made. So with building information modeling, you can do so much. And there's a whole logic around the process. You make an execution plan, you define what you're going to try to achieve and why, etc. You think of digital twinning and connected data and all this wonderful stuff. Never lose sight of the importance of visualization. That design review function that is primary to BIM, right? We model, we can do all these amazing things. Well, design review in itself is an amazing thing. And to be able to be immersed so easily and quickly, to garner an understanding, to make real all the comments you can receive, or to ground truth them in a way that never could be done before, is probably one of the biggest benefits of BIM. And we tend to kind of set it aside because we're thinking of all the other, straight to fabrication, machine control for the sites, etc. But visualization is huge, critical, and groundbreaking, if you will. As we're changing exponentially, let's not lose sight of visualization.
Yeah, I would even say that it's one of the easiest ways to connect right now with all this technology, with all of the fanciness and the complexity of what we're dealing with nowadays. It is one simple way to really give that wow factor, that blow your mind, that here is what we're looking at. Just get in there, feel it in your bones, let the hairs on your arms raise. That's the kind of stuff that we're really trying to convey to them, right?
Yep.
And so as we moved on through these experiences, we started getting better and better and doing this more and more. Turner Fleischer decided to do our own studio renovations, which is a very exciting part that we're really looking forward to being almost ready now. And we have used Enscape through every part of that process. And it has been a absolutely fantastic and wonderful journey to be able to convey the vision that the partners have for the studio to the staff, and being able to relate that to each other. I know from personal experience that even the markups in our own studio design are done through Enscape many times, where the designers and the leads will sit down with Ellen and the partners and showcase what they're talking about or what they're envisioning through the Enscape platform. with so that they can easily navigate it and look in every nook and cranny of everything instead of from a specific perspective. We're able to rotate and take a look at a whole room and walk around it and actually make notes and on how these elements all relate with each other. So that has been a humongously powerful tool for us to really envision our own space and get our own place in order the way that we want it to be. And Enscape is just being pivotal in that whole process.
And I can completely vouch that what you're seeing there is what's actually in reality now. And looking at these 4 images, these first 3 are actual pictures. This one is an Enscape rendering, and I can't even tell the difference from what it's like to stand there and see this finished space. So that's what's in one, visualization is impactful. This is the ultimate of what it ended up being.
Absolutely.
So that's our story. We bring it all together. A lot of activity, a lot of excitement, a lot of movement as it came to how Enscape was woven into Turner Fleischer's digital story. And, it's been a critical piece of technology that allowed us to further digitize our practice and really get the most out of the technologies that we're trying to achieve.
And it's just the beginning of the story too.
Exactly. So we're open for questions now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.